Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm out here in the garage going through some of my parts bins to see what parts I have that I can use in building this upper receiver for this 9mm project that I have. You guys been watching the channel, you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't need a gas tube, but anyway, just going through it, seeing what I have. I think I have some parts that I might be able to use, which would save me some time and prevent me from having to buy extra parts. But anyway, I wanted to come to you guys tonight and talk about the Supreme Court. Hold on a second, I dropped something. All right, I want to talk to you guys about the Supreme Court. Now, I know many of the channels are talking about how the Supreme Court today voted to allow the Joe Biden administration's ATF's ghost gun ban to go into effect. And some channels are saying we've been betrayed by, like, Amy Coney Barrett. Other people are kind of gnashing their teeth. They don't understand how this could be. And all I can do is come to you and say, I told you guys so. If you guys remember when it came to the ATF pistol brace ban stuff, I said, you have too much faith in the courts. Even the conservative justices aren't going to save you. If they do really believe in the Second Amendment, there's not enough of them. And this just goes to show you, anytime that the justices have to vote on something that's vague, like, let's just be honest, Heller and Bruin is vague. Okay? They're not the big wins that we would hope for because they're not very specific. They lay out how lower courts are supposed to adjudicate these cases, but they don't flat out say you can't ban guns based off of cosmetic features. They don't say it has to be done off of certain criteria. No, this is the process, which of course, unless they're specific, lower courts are going to work very hard to try to find a way around it. And then anytime the Supreme Court has an opportunity to rule on something that is specific, they don't. They like things to be as vague as possible. And when it comes to judicial philosophies of liberal justices versus conservative justices, this is a trend that I've noticed for a long time. The liberals play for keeps. I mean, this is going into the legislative branch, the executive branches, and the judicial branch. It doesn't matter what the law says, what tradition is. They're going to get their agenda through, and they're going to pride themselves on coming up with some novel, new interpretation to get whatever it is done. They don't care. They could have a majority in a state legislature by one single vote, and they are going to ram it through. It doesn't matter that it upends 250 years of precedent and tradition. They do not care. They play for keeps. And it's why I respect them so much, because they play to win. They play to win. When it comes to our side, like I've told you in some of my recent videos about why I don't vote, it's because the Republicans don't play to win. They play to get along. Unfortunately, the world is not fair. It's not fair. It's not going to be fair. No law is going to make it fair. And many times when it comes to the left, by hook or by crook, as I said, they're going to get what they want to get done. They have no scruples. They have no morals. They have no ethics. But our side wants to act like, okay, well, we're going to be the ones with morals and ethics. That's why we lose. And I'm not saying we have to be unethical. I'm just saying that they play the game. They're like, well, you know, the other side, well, they go online, they say mean, nasty, well, we're not going to say that. If one of our side does that, we ostracize them. That's why we lose. I'm sure Amy Coney Barrett and Justice Roberts are good people. I'm sure they believe in the Second Amendment to a certain point. But let's just be honest. They don't really care in the end. I think Justice Thomas absolutely does. And there's, three other justices. I think it was Kavanaugh and Alito and I forgot who else it was. But anyway, This conservative Supreme Court is going to let this thing go through. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that I didn't see this coming, but I know a lot of people are really surprised. I don't know why. Just like when it comes to the ATF pistol brace ban, you guys all laughed at me when I said, there's no court cases that are going to overturn this. Everyone's like, well, you're an idiot. You're not following all this news. You're not following this and that and blah, blah, blah. It's going to get overturned. No, it's not. Maybe you'll get one lower court in some circuit that will overturn it. You know the ATF's going to appeal. It's going to go to the next level, and they're going to be like, whoa, hold on there, lower court. We got to put this injunction back in place until we can hear it. And we're going to go ahead and put it on the docket for, I don't know, a year and a half from now, so people can have their arguments. But before then, the law can be enforced, because we don't really think the plaintiffs are going to win on the merits. No. We're just going to let that go. And then if they lost it, they're going to go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court doesn't want to touch it with a 5-foot pole, because they know it's too specific. They're like, we like vague things. We like the lower courts to do the dirty work. So we're going to let it just go through. The government's going to government. That's the way it is. And all you people that are like, the ATF can't create law. Yeah, they can. The Supreme Court says they can. So what are you going to do now? What are you going to say now? It's law. It's a rule, right? And the ATF pistol brace thing isn't going to be any different. You know, we've had what now? 3 months or whatever, and this has been it. You guys thought it was going to happen on the last day. There was like a D-Day. Oh my gosh. Here we are. Life's gone on. I see on gun websites and gun auction sites that they're selling pistols again, just without the braces. They've gone back to what they always did. No one's gotten arrested. They haven't raided anybody's house. They really haven't denied anybody's tax stamp. They haven't said, oh my God, you tried to... None of it happened. It's just life goes on, right? I told you guys this is what was going to happen. And a lot of you guys are going to forget, because it's not the current thing that everyone's talking about right now. But we're going to lose in the end. We're going to lose in the end. And one of the reasons is because I'm not saying, and I'm using you in the general, not you specifically. You in the general as a population. You won't fight like your enemy. If your enemy is going to bring a gun, you have to bring a gun. You can't bring a knife. You have to play the rules that they're going to play. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, cheating to win, even if your opponent is cheating, is still cheating. Well, there's no good outcome in this, because if your opponent cheats and they win, well, you lose, right? But if you cheat to cheat them who are cheating, you still win, but you're cheating. And in your own conscience and your own heart, you're like, oh my gosh, I cheated. And a lot of people can't do that. And that's why we will lose. That is why we will lose. Too many of you guys have, I'm just going to say, moral and ethical issues. Not with yourself, but with the candidates that you want to vote for. I see it too often in many of the races, especially the primaries. You'll have somebody that's running for office that might be young, okay, and they're a firebrand. And they're really passionate about politics. And they're very conservative or very libertarian. Let's just say there's somebody running on the libertarian side of Republican politics. They're young, and maybe in the past they said something that might be a little bit naughty online. Like they called somebody a name, and a bunch of Republican voters are like, oh, we can't have somebody that's mean. We're not that party. So we're going to vote for the establishment person. Okay. You get the establishment person. Good. You got Mitch McConnell again. Oh, good. You got Susan Collins. because you're scared to vote for somebody that's a real firebrand, that's going to fight like your opponents are going to fight. You all know it. You all know what I'm talking about. Maybe somebody in their past, something comes out that on social media, oh my gosh, when they were in college, they partied hard. They smoked pot or something, or they drank. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's a career-ending thing. We can't, oh my gosh, my family values, I can't have a candidate representing me that smoked pot. I'm going to vote for the establishment person. And that's why you get Mitch McConnell. Do you really think the Democrats care about any of that crap? They don't. Until collectively we begin to play politics like our enemies play politics, we're going to lose. When the Democrats have a chance to nominate a justice, whether it be to the Supreme Court, a circuit court, a lower court, they nominate and vote in somebody who doesn't even know the Constitution. I remember Ted Cruz, a couple years ago, was in a judicial committee hearing with some nominee. And he asked this nominee, who was going to be on a circuit court, can you tell me about, I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was the second article of the Constitution. Tell me about Article 2 of the Constitution. And this person who was up for a circuit court position said something to the effect of, I don't know what Article 2 is. I need to go look at my, you don't know what Article 2, I know what Article 2 is. Do you know what Article 2 is? What's Article 1? Well, Article 1 sets up the legislative branch, 2 is the executive, 3 is the judicial. But these people don't know the basics. They have law degrees. How do I know things that someone with a law degree doesn't know? And they're nominated. But guess what? They're not there because of their legal knowledge. They're there because when they get in, they're not going to care about the Constitution. They're going to get their agenda done. Through hell or high water. It doesn't matter. They're going to make up rights that aren't in there, and they're going to find rights that are clearly laid out in the Constitution and squash them. But when we nominate, the conservatives or the libertarians nominate, or our party nominates, our side of the aisle nominates a judicial nominee, they're wishy-washy. Well, we need to do this. No, we need people that are going to play politics dirty like the other side does. Unfortunately, we're not in a position anymore to play nice. We're just not. Just like I hope many of the candidates at the national level are realizing. For years, the Democrats have played dirty when it came to ballot harvesting, going around to nursing homes and getting people that probably have no idea of what's going on to vote, collect their ballots and go turn them in. And we have to do the same thing. I know. It's the only way we're going to win. But literally our country, our rights and our lives are on the line. But people won't fight because they got these morals and ethics of we don't play politics like our enemy. Well, that's fine. Maybe you'll go to your grave one day and being content. But you've lost everything. Today's Supreme Court vote, while it's not the end of the fight, shows that they don't want to stick their nose into this. And the fact that they don't stick their nose into it is going to give the lower courts the ability to say this ghost gun thing is perfectly fine. And that sets precedent. And then when the bump stock ban stuff or the pistol brace ban stuff comes before them, it's the same thing. The government gets more power. I was recently watching a clip from the show Breaking Bad. If you guys have seen it, you guys know what the show's about. But I'm going to talk about the scene is when Walter White's brother-in-law named Hank, who's a DEA agent, he gets killed by another guy, a drug guy. They're out in the desert. And Walter White is sitting there trying to convince this other bad guy not to kill his brother-in-law. Stands up for him and says, listen, I got $80 million buried out here in the desert. It's life-changing if you just let him live. Just don't kill him. He's my family. And he spends 5 or 6 minutes trying to convince this person not to shoot Hank. And then when this person points a gun at Hank and says, should I let you live? Hank says, pretty much F you, and then looks at Walter and says, you're the smartest person I ever knew. But you're not smart enough to realize this guy made up his mind to kill me 10 minutes ago. That's the way I look at our rights in this country. You guys have hope that the Supreme Court, some justice, is going to come save you. Some court is going to logically look at this and go, yeah, it says in the Constitution you can't do this. Or the ATF can't create law. And you assume that these justices, regardless of what their political opinions are going to look at them and go, well, that's the way it is. They can't create law. But what you guys fail to understand is that these justices already decided to take away your Second Amendment rights and to rule against you years ago, before these cases were ever brought before them. You guys might be smart, full of hope. The decision's already been made. I know, it's not what you guys want to hear. You guys want me to be cheery and tell you, oh, it's going to go back down. Don't give up. It's over. It's been over. Those decisions were already made. It's over. It's been over for 10 or 15 years. It's just been dragging on this way. And they put a little thing in front of you, a carrot on a stick in front of you, thinking, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I have the hope. I'm going to get that carrot. And it never comes. Because the more you move forward, the more that stick with the carrot moves forward. And then one day they get tired of playing the game and they just take it all away from you. These justices, before they got confirmed, knew that any Second Amendment case that comes before them, they're going to vote against. That's it. It's over. As I said, when it comes to the procedural part of this, it's not over. It's going to go back to the lower courts. And you guys are going to go, we have hope. They're going to rule. We're going to rule. Let's donate more money to these pro-gun groups. These judges are going to see it our way. Yeah, you'll get a win from time to time. But it'll be appealed. And then you'll lose. It's the way it works every time. And the march of tyranny moves forward. Never stops. During the good times, people don't care. That's the thing about the enemies of our freedoms that you guys, I think, fail to understand. When Donald Trump was president, we had the White House, we had the House of Representatives, and we had the Senate. We had all three branches. Times were good. Name one piece of pro-gun legislation that they advanced, that they could have passed. Oh, that's right. You can't. Why? Because they didn't. Times were good. And they'll always give you the excuse, the Democrats in the Senate were going to always stop it. Do you think that stops the Democrats when they're in the majority? Hell no. The Republicans aren't fighters. Times were good. People were like, okay, we're not going to lose our rights right now. So you didn't care. You weren't pushing to win the battle. But the people that want to take away your rights, they never sleep. They never stop. They're always scheming. Always scheming. When the times are good for you, they're scheming. When the times are bad for you, they're still scheming. They're always working. They're always planning. They're always playing the long game. And it doesn't matter who gets the ball across the finish line. It could be the most unscrupulous person possible. Someone that you would never invite into your house because morally and ethically, they are horrible people. It doesn't matter to them as long as they get the result they want. But on our side, we can't have that. We can't have that, right? Oh my gosh, this one person is said this mean thing on social media. Oh, I can't vote for them now. Oh, got to vote for Mitch McConnell. And what's Mitch McConnell going to get you? A bunch of this. Yeah, that's right. You guys remember how he stopped a few days ago and just... Yeah, that's what you get. That's it. So, anyway, I knew you guys wanted to know what I thought about the Supreme Court thing, and that's it. But you guys know I am not Mr. Positive when it comes to any of this. So anyway, I'm curious what you guys think in the comments section below. Do you have any opinions? Do you guys think I'm completely off base on this? So let me know what you think in the comments section below, and sorry for being a negative Nancy. So, as always, thanks for watching.